welcome to Mastering Maize in Blue. Today we're talking about living at the Union. I'm Allysa Decato, and I'm joined with Lydia Fleming. So my major is political science with a secondary teaching certificate in social science. I'm involved in Delta Phi Epsilon, the Political Science Association, and I'm also a student org consultant. My favorite movie personally is Pride and Prejudice. I absolutely love it. And then I'm gonna have Lydia explain what hers are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lydia Fleming. I'm majoring in psychology and criminology. I'm involved in Pride as a member, and I'm public relations of the Criminology and Criminal Justice Collective. And my favorite movie is Moonrise Kingdom.
I do have to admit, I've never heard of Moonrise Kingdom, so I think I might have to look at it after this.
Yeah, it's not very popular.
It's a good movie.
Okay, and then so we're joined with Jordan Wohl and David Johnson. Jordan's the senior property manager at the Union, and David Johnson is the leasing manager. So I'm gonna hand it over to them, and they're gonna explain a little bit about themselves and what they do.
You want to go first?
Thank you. Yeah. So my name is David Johnson. I go by DJ. I'm our leasing manager, and as you can see by the picture, a part-time leprechaun as well. My main focus and my main cog in the machine is really helping people with leasing. So I go over a lot of contracts. I'll kind of work with the kids and with the parents on helping them get in. I'm getting situated and just really getting to understand the experience here at Dearborn. And then I'll let Jordan kind of explain his part in a little too.
Cool. Hi, my name is Jordan. As you can see, I'm also a part-time Tigers fan, as you can see. I've been working at the Union since 2017. I came into UM-Dearborn as a student in 2016 and graduated last year. It's been a whirlwind since I graduated, but we're here, a senior property manager of the Union, and it's so much fun to be able to make tangible change at my college apartment complex and be able to take the experiences that I learned when I was a student and make this a better opportunity for everybody here. So we're really excited for freshmen to come in and have an experience that's unlike everything that I experienced when I was a freshman and sophomore. And everything's very positive right now, and we cannot wait for people to come in.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has to be interesting if you've stayed even after you've graduated.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see everyone else leave. No, but it's such a cool opportunity because I mean, we spent so much time when I was an undergraduate talking about like, wow, like what if we had this and like what if we could do that? And I'm sure everybody's been at that job or been in that place where it's like, wow, like if we just had like this and this place would be amazing. And they gave me a credit card in a job, so now I can do those things. It's awesome. So it's been a really fun time for sure.
All right, so we do have some other questions planned out to ask you guys. So the first one is, what is your favorite part about the Union?
Definitely. Jordan,
I can go first. I mean, what the coolest part about like for me the Union is, obviously I've been here. This is once people move in this fall, it'll be my 5th year being around here, and you see the change in the community every year, and you see new people who bring something different to the experience, and that's what we're really the most excited about. And it's so much fun. It's kind of corny to say, but it's really fun to just meet new people and to get people together and create these experiences. And especially now that I've been here for a while, like you see students grow up. And I have students who I knew who came in as freshmen that are graduating now. It's awesome. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and then for me, I'd probably say, similar to Jordan, just, really getting to see these kids grow and mature, the same people who would come in and ask you questions about, hey, where should I go for this? Where's the best place to go on campus for this? How do I get involved in Greek life or in athletics or just, in student engagement, turning into those same kids that people ask. And getting to see that all work full circle and kind of work in a loop, it's really nice just to, see the growth of all these kids. And then, we got to see it ourselves and, now we get to do it for others as well.
Yeah, that's a great photo too. That's from a sandcastle tournament we did 2 summers ago. And they were the only 2 people that showed up.
That's my friend Mac. So I was like, I have to include it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a bit. I'll have to catch up with him.
Okay. And so then, how would you personally describe the Union and the community around it? Because obviously the community around the Union is so big. What do you feel is the community that you are a part of?
Well, the special thing about the union, and if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say eclectic. And the reason why is, most people that come to the union, they're choosing to commit to living on campus because they want that college experience. And even, with that, everybody has a different take on what a college experience should look like. And so with that said, we are starting something a little bit different this year called the Union Houses. And so we see that our community has so many different like pockets and niches of an experience. Like you have the gamers, you have the students who are looking to go to Ann Arbor and go to football games. You're looking for people who want to collaborate and do creative things, or just people who want to acquire the experience and get a degree, maybe go out into nature and things like that, and hike and observe what all the state has to offer. We want to be able to, give everybody the specific experiences that they want to have. And we also want to be able to show or to get people together who want a similar experience. And so if you're living at the Union this fall, you'll be able to take part in our houses and specifically choose a house of sort that's going to cater to your experience. Whether you want something more fast-paced or slow-paced, there's a little bit of something for everybody. And DJ can attest to it too. I mean, we have 600 people that live on our property every year, and everybody's looking for something different out of the experience. And that's the fun part. We get to represent those interests.
Exactly. And as Jordan was saying too with the houses, that really helps with our roommate matching, where it's like in the past, a lot of people kind of just sign up for a floor plan. You just kind of hope that maybe you'll be matched with somebody that you're similar to. I know that wasn't the case when I first came in, and I was lucky enough to have, one of the other community assistants, Miguel, ended up being my roommate for 3 years. But I always wish that there was a way to like meet people that like had similar interests in me, or that were going to something similar, that liked sports, that were big into being active on campus, that like Greek life. And the way that we're doing our application out, it's just that, like, we're really asking people, who are you and what do you want? So we're really able to cater not only that experience but the roommates as well. So you'll wake up in the morning around people that have similar interests, that maybe they listen to the same artists you do, they cheer for the same teams you do, they want to do the same things you want to do, and it keeps you engaged and it makes you want to be here. And I think that's one of the biggest changes that we've made for this upcoming year that we're really excited for.
Yeah, and it's a cool question to ask too, because it's like you talk about like roommate matching, like the way we used to like put people together, like incoming freshmen, like be like, okay, the thing that you most have in common is you're kind of clean and you wake up at 8 a.m. Like that was that was like how you got placed with roommates. But now it's like, no, like your roommates in your room and the people that are going to be on your hallway, like everyone's going to like playing video games and everyone's going to have an Xbox, and like you're going to be able to wake up and like have that in common, and like you can use that to meet people. And we really want to make it as easy as possible for people to get to know one another. And that's what college is all about. And that's the coolest part about the union, is it's the traditional college experience. So if you are coming to University of Michigan-Dearborn, you see what college looks like on TV and all that nonsense, like this is it.
Yeah, I really like that you can still stay with people that have similar interests to you with this upcoming thing you guys are implementing. But then also you're surrounded by so many people with different interests that you get to learn from and kind of create new friendships through that.
Yeah, we're so excited for it. And I mean, everything that we do is kind of informed by our experiences. So we could be very wrong. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But to us, it makes sense. So we'll see. But what's cool too is that, like, and another point I'd make on this question, not to spend too much time on it, but like, since we are, kind of current and former student run, we want to create a community that's vocal about what they want. We're open to listen, whether it's positive or constructive criticism. We want to build on that and be able to create an experience that's by students for students.
Yeah,
that's really the biggest thing for us.
Perfect.
Great. And the next question we have are, what are some of your main responsibilities?
DJ does a little more, so I'll let him answer this question.
Well, some of my main responsibilities, I'm mainly in charge of, like I was saying before, bringing people in, managing contracts. I'm really a big part too, and Jordan helps me a lot with this, with roommate matching, really making sure that, for those 600 people, that we're finding great matches for them. And because there's so many similarities across people, it does take time. And even today, we're going to look over it as well. So, really taking that time to like go on a weekly basis and say, hey, we got 20 or 30 new kids who signed. Let's see if they fit with somebody else. And for us, it's not just, hey, let's just fill up the board and just get, 100% filled so that we can just look good for our numbers. It's like, hey, let's make sure that these people fit well in these areas. And we want to make sure that, the people that we're bringing in and the people that are getting matched with people that really line up well so that we can give them that experience that, we didn't have. It's always weird saying it, but it's kind of like the parent that's like, I want to give you what we didn't have. And that's kind of what we want to do in this situation. It's like, we saw a change that we wanted, but, we were younger. We were both community assistants, and there's only so much you can do at a certain point. But, now we're given, the wheels and the key to the card. It says, hey, like, you can run it your way. So I was honestly say that's one of the main responsibilities is just like being able to drive the car. And it's a great feeling that, a 23-year-old and a 21-year-old who both, I'm a senior now and he just graduated this past year, are the guys who get to run it. And it's a great experience. So I'll probably say it's the main responsibility.
Yeah, the only way to explain my job is to explain a few other people's jobs. We have our student staff that work here. They're called community assistants. And if you work for our office, you work to pay off your rent. So our CAs get free rent. So we have that group. We also have Aiden, who's our marketing director. And he plans the events and runs our social media, to put his job simply. DJ's my assistant property manager and also does leasing as well. So he's going to be the one that you work with to sign your contracts, roommate matching, like you said. We also have Allysa in the office, and she's the greatest. She's kind of like the vice principal. She's my other assistant property manager, and she's in charge of accounts. She makes sure that everyone's paying their rent on time. And she also is, any like disciplinary nonsense or, if you see Allysa, it's a great thing. She's a really nice lady, but it may not be because of a good reason that you're meeting with her. And then we also have Steve, who's our facilities manager. And he makes sure that the property's clean and tidy. Any work orders in the apartments, if anything's broken, him and his staff will help you fix it. My job is basically just to make sure that, as the senior property manager, that everybody has what they need. Everybody knows how to do their job, not only at this property, but our Detroit property as well for Wayne State, just to make sure that everyone's happy, whether it's, the staff in our office or the students here. I kind of fill the holes. And again, that's really the only way to explain my job. It's pretty easy. We have a lot of really good staff here, so I don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And with what you said, I know some of my closest friends that I've made have been my roommates, like starting out from freshman year, just even to now, I talk to them daily and I physically don't know what I would do without them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how that's how you meet your networks, right? You have, if you're in a 4x4, which is our most common floor plan, you're going to have 3 people who have things in common with you. They have their network. Maybe they know people who went to high school that are in the same school, things like that. You can meet so many new people, especially as a freshman. And so, that's how I met a lot of people my freshman year is I met my people in my classes. Then my roommate, who was also a freshman, met people as well. And we just kind of merged friend groups. And, I don't want to speak for DJ, but DJ was in a fraternity, while he was in college, and his roommate was as well. They had, this network that they were able to proliferate throughout their classes and things like that. And it's the greatest when you have roommates who have similar interests. It's a lot of fun. And, obviously for a lot of people, this is their first time living away from home too. And that can be scary at times, trying to cook every day and paying rent, and nonsense. It's a lot of work, and doing that, with other people who are going through same things that you are. Like, that's college. Like, that's what's fun about it, is kind of, getting through the adversity.
Okay, perfect. So our next question for you what are some fun facts about the union that a lot of students don't know about? I feel like they see the union kind of as a broad thing. What are some hidden gems that you guys would like to share?
Yeah. So we took some time to think about this one because we're fun, but we're not super factual. So the first thing I mentioned our property in Detroit. I think that may be something that people don't know a ton about. We have our building here. It's the Union at Dearborn. It's 603 beds. We can have over 600 students here. We also have the Union at Midtown, which is an apartment complex in Midtown Detroit, right off of Cass and Woodward, basically in the heart of the city. It has 140 beds, so we can fit 140 students there. It primarily serves Wayne State medical students. And so once I graduated and moved over there, and I'm living in Detroit, which is awesome, but all of our managers here, we not only manage this property, but we also go over to Detroit and manage that one as well too. So The coolest part about that, and another fun fact, is that, even though we do serve both campuses, and traditionally, I mean, the Union at Dearborn has been around since 2013. Union Midtown's been around since 2011. Traditionally, it's always been adults who haven't really known too much about the community in the area, whether they just weren't students or they just came in from outside. It wasn't until I originally became a manager in 2019, we started to have UM-Dearborn students come in, but now in 2021, over half of our management staff for both properties are current or former UM-Dearborn students. And we're looking to expand. I mean, we'll have more unions in different states over the next couple of years, and we're going to kind of keep the same nucleus of UM-Dearborn students. So, hopefully at some point you'll see us, successful UM-Dearborn grads in, who knows where, Kentucky, Florida, what have you, creating other college experiences in other places based off of what we learned at UM-Dearborn. So it's cool we can kind of bring what we learned here and make other places function and work. I don't know if you have anything fun. That was pretty much it. Yeah, that's all we got.
I was gonna say too, off of Jordan's point of expansion as well. One thing that we have as well outside of our community assistants, as you can see in the picture, is we have a lot of other students who live at the facility that we call our RA. So those are resident advisors. Generally in late September, early October, we have an election. So we'll pick about 1 or 2 per floor, and then they'll assist our community assistants in creating those events and those experiences. So unlike before, like, though we did love our pizza event, like when we're having a event for the 4th floor, when it's Maize League, we're going to do a tailgate. We're going to do, taking a bus to a Michigan game. And if it's the 2nd floor where it's Wolverine Trail, we're going to have people going on nature walks. Like, they're going to help us create that experience even more. And they're going to be living on that floor. So instead of just kind of feeling like, hey, a lot of the community assistants live in the loft, they're not really living near us. You're going to have people on each floor that you can go to that you'll come in your first day and you'll be in group chats with. They say, hey, I don't know how to do this, or hey, I'm having trouble making friends, and you can go through them as well. So, having our RAs is a really big part of our success as well, and that's something we'll continue with other properties too.
Yeah, it's a great thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, we have both community assistants that work in the office, and then we also have our resident advisors, our RAs, that are going to be for each house. So when you come on campus, you can be the RA for, let's say, Maize League, which is our traditional college experience. Like DJ said, of tailgating and meeting people and being engaged on campus and all that stuff. And you can work with our office to create that experience and also get a bit of a rent discount too for doing that. That photo is great, and I'm glad it made it. That was from a pizza event that we did during the pandemic, and so we went to the Little Caesars in Allen Park, and we broke a record at that specific Little Caesars location for the amount of hot and ready's bought at one time. We spent $500 on 100 hot and ready's, and we just gave them out to people. So we just went door to door and just passed out a box of hot and ready's and said, "Here, enjoy it." And that was like our most popular event. People were going nuts for it. So that was a lot of fun. That was a really, really fun event. And also just seeing that much pizza at one time was hilarious. I don't know, Allysa, I think, were you a part of that event? Did you get one?
I was, yeah, that was the night of the scavenger hunt.
Yeah, we had some fun events during the pandemic. We were able to keep everything pretty socially distanced and smart. That was a lot of fun to do some stuff this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you were able to still have those events even with things not really being open on campus.
Yeah, well, so I mean, that was the tough thing about the pandemic is I think, like I said before, we have an eclectic community that has a lot of different perspectives and viewpoints. And so, during the pandemic, keeping everybody safe, but then also providing a college experience to everybody. That was the tough thing to do. And it got to a point where we, I kind of realized that doing events just on Zoom, like just doing the Kahoots, weren't getting engagement and people wanted something tangible. And so we really had to step up and figure out how to do it safely. And, events like our pizza event, we also did some other stuff where we were able to keep people social distance, throughout the property, where we did a picnic, for example, where people were able to, get items and have a picnic with their own roommates. We were able to keep everybody safe, thank goodness, and also provide that college experience. So the good news is we'll have less restrictions in the fall. The state of Michigan just opened completely a couple of days ago at the point of us recording this. And so we have some huge plans. obviously we're going to keep people, safe, and we'll be considerate throughout that process, because I think, going forward, we just have to be more cognizant of those things at this point too. And also we saw some success of keeping people, in smaller groups. So you can expect, if you come to the union this fall, you're going to have a great time, and we're also going to make sure that you're taken care of too, that will keep you safe. That's
really great. And then the next question is, what made you want to get involved with this field and with the union in general?
Well, I kind of poached DJ from what he was going to do originally, so I guess I'll start. But when I was in college, I was a political science major. I had minors in urban and regional studies and history, and I had an internship in politics, which I loved, and I had a great time with Cheryl Edwards in the Ottawa internship program. And I got to a point towards the end of my sophomore year where I realized maybe politics wasn't for me. And I knew that I still wanted to help communities, and I still wanted to be active wherever I was. And so that kind of transitioned to all of the work that I was doing at UM-Dearborn as a student. I felt like I wanted to be in the college environment as a career, and continue to contribute to an academic setting. And so I set my sights on going to school for higher education, and then I got a job, as a manager at the union after being a student staff member. And then I just kept getting promotions, and now I'm in student housing. So I'm still doing what I want to do. I'm still creating college experiences, and it's in line with what I wanted originally. And I'm getting paid to do it. So, I mean, it works out. And the cool thing, student housing, people may not know, this is a national, industry. I was able to go to Dallas 2 years ago and get to know more about the industry and the hotbeds of what they do and things like that. And there's over 700,000 beds of student apartments throughout the country. It's predominantly in Texas, Florida, and California. Michigan's not really a big area for it. So we're creating an experience that's kind of unique to this region, but it's a really, really big region and a really, really big industry. And most people get into the industry because, they went to school for a major that may, not be as fruitful in the job market, and they just got a promotion while in college, and they're like, all right, student housing. And so that's at least how I got into it.
For me, as Jordan said, he did poach me. It was actually we were on our way. So I was the second vice president for my fraternity, Delta Sigma Phi at the time, and I was in charge of throwing events and hosting parties, and I needed to get some supplies. I drove to Jordan, and we were pretty cool. We were starting to talk to each other more, and he just kept asking me questions about my job at the time. I'm like, are you trying to offer me a job or something? I'm confused. He's like, what if we could try to get you in at the union? I'm like, I guess, we'll see. I never thought that I would fit the culture at the time, because I thought, maybe I'm not as, as much student engagement. Though I was in student government, though I did a lot of things on campus, I didn't know if that was the look that they wanted. And, they embraced me with open arms. And I feel like I came in, was able to really have my own way the same way Jordan did, and realize and understand the system, and then tweak it to make it your own, and then really have fun with it. And, keep that focus on the students, because we were saying, he just graduated, I'm a senior now. I still see these same people who are living here. I'm going to have classes with them. And I love that, because they can ask me these questions. They can give me this feedback. And I wanted to still be involved on campus and still help others, and, be in a field where, I felt like I could make an impact, on this campus. And, especially when everything happened with quarantine, I felt like I was kind of away from it. The union really gave me that opportunity to still stay connected with students. And, now that things are opening up more, we can definitely do a lot going forward.
Yeah, and that's the coolest part about my job, is that I get to identify talent, and DJ was definitely doing it at the time. And so, I get to still kind of be active on student life and on campus as an alumni, because when we have openings for student positions in the office, I have to know who's ready and capable of being in those positions. Since I'm the one that'd be hiring those students. So it's so much fun to be able to develop relationships on campus, and then also with the students that we have living here too, because when we're in a pinch and, we need someone to, come into the office and be one of our community assistants, DJ was available, and I was seeing the work that he was doing. It's a lot of fun. It's like kind of scouting for a sports team. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So we're always looking for new talent. We're always looking for people who want to be a part of the experience and want to work and want to learn more about how to fix the problems that we have here.
Yeah, and definitely just from this point in the call, we could all see that you guys care about the union with everything in you.
We get paid to care. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
It's like even like Jordan, he lives in Midtown. I live in Dearborn. Like, we live it. So like when we hear the complaints, when we hear the issues, it's not like we live 30, 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Oh, I have my wife and kids at home, so this isn't my problem. It's like, no,
right.
Like the stuff you guys are going through. There's an electricity issue. There's the heat. There's like, if it's raining, if water is getting in, we're dealing with the same stuff. So we have that commitment. And it's not saying we wouldn't if we didn't, but because we are here, it keeps us even more involved. We're like, hey, like, this isn't a I'll get it tomorrow morning thing. It's I'll do it right now. Because we want it to be solved the same way that we'd want somebody to solve it for us. So now that we get that opportunity, like, we can really put that attentiveness into the issues that, our residents are bringing up.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, like DJ said, like, this is our home too. I lived at the Dearborn property for 4 years, and now I'm still living at a union property. Like DJ said, like, the biggest difference with our culture and our management staff now that, maybe we didn't see in the past is that when things happen on the property, it affects us in the same way. And you can trust that we're gonna have your best interest in mind because it affects us in the same way it affects the students. And so that's the coolest part about it is the care is natural. The care is organic, and when we say that we want to create a positive college experience, that's just based off of us saying, like DJ is still a student. Like, I'm pushing him to have like the best senior year he could possibly have. And that's, through what we can do here too. And that's the coolest part about our job is that our job is to just make other people's lives more interesting. And it's kind of based off of what we go through.
Yeah. Okay. So our next question for you guys is, and you have talked about this several times, and if your answer doesn't include the wigs, I'll feel like it's all a lie. But what's your favorite part about your job?
It's sharing the same afro. No. That afro is great. We originally bought that for our Bob Ross night. And man, I really botched that painting. I'm looking at it now. Oh, it's rough. Anyways, but we used to do this Bob Ross event where we'd get everybody canvases and paint, and we would just go down to the lobby, and I'd just, we'd either hire an artist or I would show everyone how to paint something. So we bought that for that originally, but then we just kept wearing it for different things. But but the best part about this job is just how wacky it is. Like, we're trying to create a college experience, and in my eyes, a college experience is weird. It's different. It's unique. It's when you, especially now in the position I'm at, where I'm looking at it in hindsight, the memories that I have of being a college student were just like the stupid random things I used to do with my closest friends that like you just can't replicate. The nights that you don't really have plans, but then you just do something that's just so funny and so random. Oh, this has got a call.
I did. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Someone keeps knocking on our door, so it's all good. It's all good. But no, and so I mean, it's the college experience is about those wacky and random nights. And so I mean, one thing that we do in the office is we have a casual Friday. Where we kind of dress weird and we'll, kind of embrace the weirdness of the college experience. Today, you kind of caught us on a weird day because today's the Office theme, like the show. And so we're all dressed nice. But, usually, there was a photo early in the slideshow where we're all dressed for Halloween. I think DJ, I forget what day that was Crazy for. That was for Crazy Hair Day, which was a fun one too. So I wore like a mullet. It was great. But we want people to embrace just the wackiness of college and, have unique experiences. And so that's the best part about this job is just being able to do dumb stuff and, having a good time with it. And, seeing just like the genuine just confusion and fun of it. Like doing like one event that we had was one event when I was the marketing coordinator back in the day, we had like an Uno and potatoes tournament. And so I just like went to GFS and spent $300 on just every potato product I could find. And we just had an Uno tournament, and I just baked a lot of different French fries and hash browns and mashed potatoes. It was just random and strange. And that's the best part about the job is just seeing that reaction from people. What's going on? Like, that's the essence of what we do.
Yeah. And I mean, to kind of piggyback off of what Jordan said, especially even with like the casual Fridays, like in the fall, we're going to have the residents come down too. We have our picture right after our meeting, which is generally around 11 a.m. And, we want our residents to be involved. It's not just, just us showing our pictures of just us and then the residents are doing their thing. Like, we want them to be a part. And like we were saying before, all of our community assistants, they live here. Most of them are going to be living on the theme floors, and if they're not, they'll be helping out with them. So like we're a part of that same community, and the same way that we're going to go out to them, like we want them to be a part of it with us too, because like I honestly love when people just come into the office and they'll like ask a question and then they'll just sit down on the couch and just talk for
just hang out and talk to us. Yeah,
because like back in the day, like when there are adults, like you might not feel as comfortable sitting down and talking to a 40 or 50-year-old, just about life or about classes, but like I could be in class with one of the residents that's here. I could have taken that class. I may need help from them in something. So, just being able to sit down and like have these connections with these kids because we're really the same age.
We're this, well. Yeah, we're where we are them.
Yeah, it's casual and it's comfortable. And even the way that we set up our office now, like putting the couch in there, setting up where like you're directly facing one of our community assistants, so that we're there to help you.
Yep.
It's so much just interaction. I just love it, honestly.
Yeah, we definitely want people to feel comfortable. Come down to the office. We have food in the office. We're playing music. We're having a good time. Come down, hang out with us, get to know what's going on. I mean, that's really how I originally met DJ and his roommate Miguel. As they just came down, they had a question about their apartment, and then they just kind of, hung around and talked to myself and then Harmony, who worked with us at the time, and we ended up just talking about, just random stuff for like 2 hours. And that's originally how we met. Now we're good friends. So, like DJ said, we have our casual Fridays in the office where we, dress randomly. But, when we have like our Honolulu luau, in September, we're going to invite everybody down to the office to be a part of that. And I think that's the coolest part about it, is just being able to be that inclusive and bringing people in. So there's a lot to look forward to this fall.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you guys don't just focus on the housing aspect, but the college experience as a whole. I think that's a really great way to like bring students together.
Yeah, and I want to be as transparent as possible, because I think in the past it wasn't like that. Like I said, I've been here for 5 years. In the past, it really was just an apartment complex. Like there were events, but there wasn't really anything with intention. Not to criticize anybody in the past, because we've had some amazing people work for us over time, but the biggest thing for us, and again, to be transparent, we want people to stay in college. We, want people to be here all 4 years. We want people to enjoy their experience and want to stay here year after year. So, just from even just, again, just to be transparent from the business end of it, like it helps us when people have a good time and they want to stay here. So, that's something that's been a big directive from ownership, from, my couple of bosses. They're willing to spend money on doing fun, crazy things. They want people to have a great time. But not only that, but things that have more depth. Like we want to work on student success. We want to create opportunities for students to engage with one another, to create study groups and get through their classes and make the most of their experience and learn how to be adults and learn how to, have an apartment and take good care of it and pay bills. We want people to be able to succeed in that, because again, like the longer people stay, if they're staying all 4 years here and they graduate, that's great for us. And we want people to have that experience. So we definitely, and it's a directive from us, from ownership. We want people to have a great time. We want people to, pass their classes and do well here. And that's everything about the uni experience. Everybody, comes out, graduates, and has a good time.
It's very cool. So the next question we have is, what advice would you give to a new UM-Dearborn student in general, or to those staying at the union?
I'll tackle the latter question about staying at the union. Get to know your neighbors. And honestly, just get to know everybody. I mean, one of the other reasons I met Jordan, I had a group of friends when I was a freshman, and we were just bored one day, and we were like, let's just knock on doors and meet people. And we just went around knocking on doors. We ended up going to L142, and the man himself was there, and he wasn't the happiest to see us at the time. He was busy to be completely honest. But it was that, and I got to meet him. I got to learn about him running for student government, and hearing what he wanted to do made me want to run for student government. I did a year and a half later. So just those random experiences and just getting to meet people, like just be open to interaction and to socializing and meeting people, because you never know what can happen. I always tell people that I had a group of friends that we would be in our friend's apartment. It was at least 8 or 9 of us every night till 3 a.m. our entire freshman year. We would just watch movies, just have fun, go get food. And like, those are the closest friends I have to this day. Like, those would be the guys that'll be at my wedding. Like, I consider them brothers. And it's because like we just wanted just to hang out and just meet people, and just being open to just meeting people and trying new things. Like, that's what college is about. It's the safest place you can try and do the most chances, because you're still a kid. You can still meet people. You can still take those risks. And, you know, like, you're not an adult yet, but you're also not a young kid that has to be extremely supervised. Like, you get to, you know, have that ability to be an adult. Yeah, that independence. And that's why us being an apartment complex as well works so well, because you honestly get to see what it's like living as an adult, but at a younger age. It matures you quicker. So you get to have that fun just like a kid does, and you get to grow up quicker. So, you know, when you come out of here, you know how to cook for yourself. You know how to do your laundry, because a lot of kids don't when they come here. So it'll really help you grow up and learn a lot of those life skills really quick.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say too, because I'm kind of looking at it from the other side now that I'm a post grad. Maybe my view is tainted because of the pandemic, but man, it's tough to meet people after you graduate college. My goodness. So, I mean, you know, people really talk about making the most of those 4 or 5, however long years, and try to meet as many people as possible. And I took that for granted as a student. I mean, I made up, you know, every opportunity. I met a ton of people. I didn't know anybody coming in from out of state when I started here. But you see it on the other side and you're like, wow, like, you know, you think about the nights, you know, obviously priority one, like, you're coming here to get the degree. That's priority number one. But, you know, there are times when, you know, there'd be a Saturday night and there'd be something going on, or a sporting event that I passed up just because I didn't feel like going. And I look back on it and I'm like, man, like, I wish I would have just, you know, even for everything I did, like, I wish I would have, like, you know, went to this hockey game, or I wish I would have just, like, hung out with this group of people that I didn't know this one night, because you never know. You know, same thing talking about DJ, meeting lifelong friends. You know, the guys that are going to be at my wedding, you know, I met at a volleyball tournament my freshman year. And I only met them at that volleyball tournament because I chose to just, you know, be involved and just go out there and put myself out there. And so the best advice that we can give to you guys, I mean, if you're coming in as a new student, whether you're staying at the union or not, is that, you know, we're going to try to put you guys in the best position to meet one another, but it's all about what you do with the experience. You know, we're going to give you the ingredients to create, you know, a marvelous, whatever, 3 Michelin star dish. You know, it's about you putting the ingredients together and making that meal because you want to have it, you know? So, like I said, we're going to put you in the best position possible to meet new people, but, you know, you got to put yourself out there. You got to get into situations that are maybe a little bit outside of your comfort zone. And, you know, you'll be amazed, you know, when you look in hindsight, like, wow, like, if I didn't go to this thing, I wouldn't have met these people, or it would have been a lot harder to meet these people. And so, again, like, just have fun, have a good time, be open to new experiences, try different things out. Your first couple of years, try everything, and you'll find things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. My friend group at the union, we do the exact same thing. We're in somebody's apartment Monday night watching The Bachelor, and then we go to, okay, it's great. And then we go to a local donut shop that's 24 hours. I am going to talk about it. You have to go to Donutville. It's so
Oh, it's the best. Oh, it's the best. Donutville's the best.
It's so good. And so you kind of just get that like sense of like feeling that like, okay, this was the place I was meant to be, because most of the time you kind of feel lost when you go into college. And when you graduate, like you said, Jordan, you kind of look back and you go, I made the right choice.
Yep. And it's all about what you do with the experience. I mean, a lot of people that end up choosing UM-Dearborn, just from my experience, even, you know, with me too, they're comparing us to Big Ten schools and bigger universities that have a completely different experience, you know, like University of Michigan-Ann Arbor, Michigan State, Penn State, you know, so on and so forth, even Wayne State, Central, whatever, you get the idea. And it's such a different experience because it's just so much more visible. But at the same time, what you see at those universities are people who are involved because they choose to be involved, you know? And so it's the same thing here. We're still a college, we're still a university, you know? And if you want to have that college experience, it's just a matter of putting yourself out there. And I think, you know, if you're coming in and, you know, you may not know a whole lot about this university and what it's about, you know, when it comes to being, you know, traditional college experience, it's about what you put into it. And you'd be surprised about the amount of people who are here who want that same experience. And so just put yourself out there and, you know, kind of, I hate to say it, but like, trust the process, you know, yeah.
Yeah. And with what you guys have said and all the memories that you've talked about, that leads us into our next question. What is your best memory from working at the union?
It's a tough one. I don't think I could because there's so many like just different things that we've done that are just so random and strange. But
I'd probably say it's not a best one specifically, but it's just like we just go out and just do stuff. Like my first week, I was a marketing intern when I first got hired in. I was with Jordan. I was like, so what are we doing today? He was like, we're just gonna go around Wayne State. We're just gonna pass out stuff. We're gonna get food. I was like, okay, like it's fun. And I think it's honestly just like taking the CAs, taking the managers, and just going out and having fun because, you kind of get caught up in the minutia of your job. I mean, everybody goes through it with their job, but you just start to kind of do the same thing every day. So getting those breaks where you're just like, hey, like, let's go to an amusement park today. Let's go grab food. Let's just go on a road trip just randomly, just during the day. I think those are really just those best moments where you're just having fun and just like why not? Let's just go type of moments.
Yeah, and that's the coolest part about working here is that like we have so much autonomy. Like our bosses really give us a long leash when it comes to being able to take care of our community and culture internally. And so like the best part about my job is being able to treat my staff and do things and do things to get to know them and let them know that we care about them and we're invested in them. And so like last fall, like one of my favorite experiences just working here was I was able to take a couple of staff members on just a random Tuesday to the DIA in Detroit. It was just like a random work day and there was not a lot going on and no one really had anything to do, so we're like, okay, like you and you like come in our car, let's go. And we just had like an awesome day and I got to know a couple of my staff members so much better. And so I mean that's kind of like the spontaneity of what we do, the uniqueness, the wackiness of it. We've talked about it. That's what we're about. We're trying to create new experiences, exciting experiences, and that not only goes for our students, but that goes for our staff too. And so this management group that we have currently hasn't really had the chance to see in-person classes in an in-person semester. And man, we're so excited to do these random, exciting, wacky things with students now that we have the ability and autonomy to do those things. And so yeah, I know it's also kind of a cliche answer. It's like those random times we just do stuff. But even yesterday, we had to buy furniture for our other, for our Midtown complex, and I took two of our staff members to IKEA in Canton, and I was like, it's like a museum in there. It's crazy. Oh, it's awesome! Like it was great. It was just so much fun because it was just so like just weird and random. And one of our staff members just got a house, and so we were looking at stuff for her too. And I'm moving, and I was looking at stuff too. It was just a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here, and that's the best part of this job for sure.
All right, so the next question we have for you is, if you could go back to the beginning of your career, what would you do differently?
This is I picked the photos for this one because I know this is funny. That was me as an orientation leader back in 2017, beardless. Oh man, good times. They gave us those windbreakers, and I always rolled up the sleeves, and I broke it because I was rolling up the sleeves. Oh, gosh. It was a great time. And then the other photo to the right, that was homecoming 2019. That was my senior year. And that's when I first started hanging out with DJ a little bit more. Really random. It's just funny. It's just a funny photo.
I don't think we were together before the photo.
No,
we were just walking,
and I was like, behind me. Yeah.
We had donuts. We were like, hey, you want to go get a donut? We're like, yeah. And so we're like, hey, we're gonna take your picture. We're like, okay. That's why I look so confused because like I wasn't ready. And it just like it took the picture, and it was like, okay, we're good. It just walked off.
Yeah.
That's what he was. But I mean, I know Jordan is a little different because he graduated, but I mean, with me being here now, I guess the only thing I would say I would do differently is definitely just like reach out more to those professors. I know it sounds so cliche, but they put a lot of time and effort in just with us as students, and I have a lot of professors that I'm still really close with now, but I definitely wish I could have like made those connections with some of those professors and maybe classes that I wasn't the most excited about at first, but definitely learned more about, because I just think giving back and showing that appreciation is a really big part of college, because teachers will go through so many kids in a semester and in a year, and letting them know, like, hey, I really appreciate you, or thank you so much. Like it goes a long way for them.
And especially when you I mean, the biggest thing about college is you got to find what you're passionate about. I feel like, I mean, there are some students who know going in what they want to do for the rest of their lives, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, I'm in housing now, so I mean, like, I hope that everybody has a similar experience to what I had academically, because I was able to go to classes. I was like, yes, like this is cool. This is interesting. Like, for example, like I took a modern history class with Anna Mueller in the honors program that I loved. I took a class, the Arts and Culture of Detroit, which was a brilliant class. And I was fascinated by these topics, and like I wanted to learn more, and I was genuinely curious, and it was great. And like being able to connect with those faculty that like you have a mutual interest with, like they're experts on these subjects. Don't be afraid to ask them questions that you have, because they're there to help you learn this material. But beyond that, what I would say is that DJ and I are both considered, well, I'm graduated, but DJ and I are both considered involved students. Or I guess I'm a former involved student. But we had two very different college experiences. I mean, my involvement was mainly through student life and having jobs on campus, and working in the athletic department as a non-athlete, and doing a lot of like the representation stuff with student government and things like that. And it wasn't until like my junior and senior year that I started to just really just like hang out with people more outside of like a structured system of student engagement, where I was hanging out with the Greek life guys and DJ more, and the athletes and the people at the union more, and vice versa. And I don't want to put words in DJ's mouth, but like he didn't have the experience that I had of like working in the Office of Student Life, or like in admissions as an orientation leader and things like that. So not to say that one's different from the other. It's just a unique experience. And so I keep talking to DJ, like he's got one more year here. Like I want him to just experience homecoming and experience all these things on a different side of what maybe he's seen before. So that's, I mean, it's just to kind of answer the question, I guess. I realize I'm not really answering your question. I mean, like if I have to go back in the beginning of the career, like I don't necessarily say I have regrets, but one thing I'll say is that I'm extremely grateful for the fact that I was genuinely curious, and I tried as many things as I could. And I keep telling DJ that, and he's done a great job of it. But even for the new students here, just like try different things, like meet different people, experience new and exciting things. I mean, because that's how you find out what you're passionate about, what you like. So put yourself in situations that you don't think you would otherwise enjoy, and just learn and soak it in, and be genuinely curious. Go to homecoming, like talk to people in your class that you may not know much about. Like you got to do those things. You have to do those things.
Yeah, and I agree. And so I feel like we've said a lot of words today about what the union is. And
Yes.
so if we go to the next slide, in your own words, what does the union mean to you?
Well, I'm gonna pull a Uno reverse card just to keep it interesting, because we've talked a lot. Well, I guess that makes sense because you're interviewing us. But well, I mean, what do you guys think about this question? Like, obviously, Roman, who's perpetually smiling, he hasn't lived with the union, but like, what about you two? Like, what does like the union mean to you guys?
I guess I could go first. So I came in and I was the only one from my high school who went to UM-Dearborn. So like you said, Jordan, it was basically like I was from out of state, completely coming in, didn't know a single soul. And so definitely my freshman year roommates like Maddie and Kirsten got me out of my shell. Maddie's the reason why I'm in my sorority. Kirsten's the reason why I watched The Bachelor. And just the roommates that I make each year and the friends that I make each year improve the union so much. So I guess in my own words, the union means to me like where I am now, and just I don't think I would be on the Zoom call with you guys if I didn't stay at the union.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna be a sophomore, so I haven't really stayed there long. It's only really been a year, but everything being online and like the pandemic and everything, I think the union's been like the highlight of my college experience so far, because it's the way I've been able to like meet the most people that go to UM-Dearborn, and it's the way I was able to meet my roommates that we're close with now. So I think, yeah, just like making new experiences and meeting new people.
We love hearing that. I think, for lack of a better term, we're really considering the sophomores that are coming in as kind of like redshirt freshmen. I guess for lack of a better term. And so like we're going to loop a lot of the sophomores into a lot of the get to know you type of activities. Our freshman house is called Base Camp. And so we're even welcoming incoming sophomores into Base Camp too, because we acknowledge the need for that. And so, we see that there's definitely I feel horrible for the freshman class that came in, because I want to be able to give you guys that first impression of this campus again. And so hopefully for you, Lydia, too, we'll be able to give you even more opportunities to meet people, and not necessarily to have a do-over your freshman year, but just to have another shot at, learning about this community and getting involved and meeting more people, so that's, even for all of our students who want to have that opportunity, we're going to give it to them. And, again, we just want to be a platform for people to meet one another, and we want to find unique ways to get people who have things in common to meet people. And that's the biggest thing. And we also acknowledge that, the best experiences you guys may have are going to be outside of our events. It's going to be just because of the people you met and the random things you guys do together. So, beyond that, in our own words, we've spoken a lot of words, but I'm trying to think of one word, but it's hard to condense it. Anything?
I would just say, I would either say it's family. I know it was cliche. I know it's cliche, but it really does feel like a family. But more than that, it's a hub, because we're more than just the Union for Union residents. We have kids that are at Detroit Mercy, that are at Wayne State, students that still go to Dearborn but don't live here, that'll come here, that'll have events. Different student orgs will have events here at the Union. So, we're a hub not only for ourselves, but for the university, for other kids, just for meeting people, for socializing, for homework. There's so many different things you can get out of here. And, it's not even just for Union residents, it's really for everybody. And I think that's our other part too, just being inclusive for everybody, honestly.
Yeah, and that's, if I can condense it in a few words, there's amazing things that happen at the university, and we're a part of those things. We want to be that, and we want, if I could put it in a few words, our goal is to be one of the centers of student life for the University of Michigan-Dearborn. That's a goal of ours. When people think of, what to do on campus for a day, they're either going to the UC or they're coming for us and our Victor's Den. That's what we want, and that's our plan. So that's where we want to get to, and I think a hub is a great term for it. We want to be a meeting ground. We want to be a never-ending mixer. That's exactly what we want. That's best case scenario for us. So that's what we'll try to do. And then that was a cool event that we have a photo of right there. That was our marketing director, Aiden, put that together with his student organization across the street, the Automotive Association. They had a car show where a bunch of people came out and showed their cool cars. My Chevy Trax wasn't invited, but it looked cool.
All right. And the last question we have for you is, what are some fun facts about you?
You want to go?
You already know you're a big one about your traveling.
Traveling?
Well, you're relocationing.
It's not really a fun fact.
It is a fun fact.
I moved around as a kid, but for me, a fun fact is that I love to draw and I love art. I just finished my first ever mural at our other property. I've painted tables, hockey goalie masks, things like that. So I love art, and I also love hockey. Not as playing it because I'm bad, but watching it, listening to my favorite podcast, Spit and Chicklets. That's really me. That's about it.
I have a very big fixation. I know Roman can attest as well. Just being a Detroit sports fan. Shout out the Pistons for getting the #1 pick.
There we go.
Excited, so happy.
Yep.
So even Jordan and I, we've been going to Red Wings games, Tigers games, Pistons.
A lot of Tigers games.
Even this September, we're taking 100 Union residents. We're going to a Tigers game the second week.
Make sure you sign now so you can get a ticket.
Yeah.
Lock it in now. Yep.
Just stuff like that. Just really being involved in just Detroit sports, and even the city. I love to just try new foods and just go to different places.
Yep.
And Dearborn has so many. For anybody that's watching this, when you're an incoming resident, literally just go down Michigan Ave. You could just go straight down there. You'll find a different place every day. So I just love trying new places too.
Yeah, food's a good thing. We have a thing called Yummies on our Instagram that residents will be able to take a part of, where we'll take a staff member and a random resident and we'll have them try something in Dearborn and we'll make a video out of it. So if you guys want to be a part of that, let us know. There was something you said sports. Yeah, sports are good. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was good. Yep.
Okay. So now we know that sports are good.
Sports are good. Yep. Yeah.
I thank you guys so much for joining us. we go to the next slide, this is all of their contact information. So if you have any questions about the union, if you just want to hear more about how sports are good, you could also message them. And then their Instagram right here has several things, just any upcoming events, the union yummies that they talked about, and even union cribs, which is an interesting thing where you could get a look inside people's apartments and see how they decorate. And
follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram.
Follow them on Instagram. And then
I'm bad at looking at my email DJ.
And then just visit U of M-Dearborn, Mastering Maize and Blue for any previous or future episodes. If you found this one interesting, I promise there's more to come.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us ramble on for an hour.
Thank you for joining, honestly.
Great.
Of course.